Welcome back to Patrick's Tech Studio. I'm Patrick's. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we're going to look at a great way to save money on fast storage for both your Mac, MacBook or Mac Mini, and your iPhone. If you've ever looked at Apple's built-in storage upgrade options, you've probably noticed how expensive they can get. Instead of paying a premium upfront for more internal storage, building your own external SSD solutions can give you massive capacity and speed for a fraction of the cost. Plus, you have total flexibility. You can upgrade when you want, switch drives between devices, you can choose the exact storage capacity you need. So, let's explore two setups, one for the Mac Mini or MacBook, and another for your iPhone, both at a much lower price point than going all in on Apple's internal storage. So, if we quickly take a look at the options at the Apple Store for adding more storage for a new Mac Mini, we can compare pricing. For example, here's the pricing for adding a larger SSD to your Mac Mini purchase. By the way, $599 for the base Mac Mini is an outstanding value. So here we can see that going from the base 256 gigabit SSD to the 5 or 12 gigabit SSD will cost you an additional $200. And if you want a 1 terabyte SSD, it will cost you an additional $400. And the 2 terabyte option costs a whopping $800. Notice that your options max out at 2 terabyte. So keep these prices in mind as we go through the options I will be demonstrating here. So let's now start with an alternative external SSD option for the Mac Mini. Note, this is also an alternative for the MacBook. For this setup, I'm using a Crucial P3 plus 4 terabyte SSD and a Sabrent 10 gigabit piece Type-C enclosure. Note that this enclosure can take up to 4 terabyte of storage, which is what I have done. However, you can also find and use 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte options as well. I went with the larger 4 terabyte option because I do a lot of video editing and have larger storage needs. I will put the links to all the items I mentioned in this video in the description below. But for price comparisons, here's the pricing options on Amazon for this SSD at the time of filming this video. So I got a 4 terabyte SSD for $238, but you'll see the pricing for other storage capacities. 2 terabyte for $118. Remember that Apple wanted $800 for the same capacity, and 1 terabyte for $60. Remember that Apple wanted $200. But wait, to be fair, we still need to add the price of the enclosure to the cost. So here's the price of the Sabrent enclosure at the time of filming this video. The Sabrent enclosure with Type-C cable is $30. That brings the total cost of the 1 terabyte SSD option to $90 versus Apple's $200. The total cost of the 2 terabyte SSD option is $148 versus Apple's $800. So you're probably saying, how do I make these two items work with my Mac? Pop open the Sabrent enclosure by clicking the button at one end. The cover swivels up. You'll notice that the heatsink tape is already installed above the SSD area. Align the Crucial SSD with the M.2 slot and slide it in at an angle. Secure the SSD with the built-in retention clip. Click the cover back on, no screws needed. Now connect the enclosure to your Mac Mini via USB-C. If it's a brand new SSD, open Disk Utility, select the drive. Click on Erase, choose APFS, and you're all set. You've got a high-capacity, fast external drive at a fraction of what an Apple upgrade would cost. Now, let's move on to the iPhone. With the latest iPhones offering USB-C, you can easily plug in external storage. Instead of paying top dollar for a higher capacity iPhone, why not build a portable SSD setup? I'm using a WD Black 1 terabyte SSD and the Giant 2230 enclosure. The WD Black 1 terabyte SSD delivers lightning-fast speeds in a compact 2230 form factor, while the Giant enclosure is designed for simplicity, making this the perfect on-the-go storage solution. This is a far cheaper alternative to purchasing a higher capacity iPhone up front. This external SSD also allows you to record ProRIS video directly onto the external SSD rather than filling up your iPhone's internal storage. Open the Giant enclosure by unscrewing the 2 screws using the provided Phillips screwdriver. Insert the WD Black SSD into the 2230 slot, starting at an angle and then pressing down to click into place. Then, cut the provided thermal pad to fit just over the SSD. This provides a heat sink to the enclosure and is important for cooling the SSD. Screw the top enclosure back into place and plug it into your iPhone's USB-C port. With iOS 16 or later, you can open the Files app and start using your external SSD right away. This makes it easy to offload photos, videos, or documents, and it's much more cost-effective than buying a larger internal iPhone storage option from Apple. So there you have two excellent and much less expensive options for external storage for both your Mac and your iPhone. After doing some research, these are the best options that I've found in terms of both price and speed. Let me know if you found some good options by leaving comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something from it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me grow this channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.